So my name is Zac Hill. I'm the plant records specialist and taxonomist here at Juniper Level Botanic Garden. I do a little birding on the side, just enough to know how to be dangerous. But we're going to talk about what to do for attracting birds to your garden for the year. We can actually move over here into off the. So one of the best things to do for attracting birds and doing well for this is having any white oak group in your yard, be it white oak, post oak, chestnut oak. They attract a lot of caterpillars, which songbirds, migratory songbirds, which are what you're wanting to attract, eat them and feed their babies, caterpillars. So chickadees go through, I think it takes like 20,000 caterpillars to raise one baby chickadee. So, and they have what, 4 or 5 in the nest. So mama's busy catching caterpillars. So that's just, it's good to have trees in your yard because nesting material and food for the birds and just habitat in general, it's good. You know, shade is good too. In the summer, it's less important to have the tree. I mean, the trees are good. Cherry trees, plum trees, peaches attract a lot of insects that birds also eat. And then they also have fruit that birds will eat as well. So that's a good thing to have in your, trees are good. And then a few things, we've got a big holly here. It's an Ilex chinensis. It's not native, but I can tell you that the couple hundred Bohemian cedar waxwings will sit in this elm and fly to that tree and do circles while I'm sitting in my office in about January. And they will eat basically every single berry off of that tree. Now for other things like hummingbirds, plant things like cardinal flower is good. Any salvia, it doesn't seem to matter if it's red or purple. It's more the tubular shaped flower that they're looking for. This elm also does attract a lot of birds as well. It's covered in fruit right now, and our garden director will attest that he'd rather not have this tree. It does a couple 100,000 seeds, and we pull hundreds of thousands of seedlings every year from this small leaved elm from China. But the birds eat the fruit and the flowers. So this shrub behind me, this is Aloysia gratissima punky brewster. It's a native to Texas. We're actually selling it now. It smells sort of almondy, sweet vanilla-y, but one of the things that we've noticed is goldfinches flock to this plant and absolutely tear up the flowers. They eat the flower buds and the seeds.
What does?
Goldfinches.
Oh, okay. And you sell that here?
We do sell this here. It's Aloysia virga. This is gratissima punky brewster, and we actually have a pamphlet over here with that. It's a small near native shrub from Texas. It's also in South America. It's got this weird distribution, but it's been perfectly hardy for us here. And its cousin is almond verbena, which is another good pollinator plant. It attracts bees and other insects. So the more insects you attract to your garden, the better you are for birds as well. He's deaf. But another good plant is the black-eyed Susan. That's another good attractor for goldfinches and other small finch type birds. Anything in the aster family, like coneflowers and black-eyed Susans and things like that, that have these aggregate heads, a lot of seed-eating birds will flock to them as well.
Do you plant anything to give what I call shelter, like during snowstorms?
So things, we've got some grasses and things. We usually leave the grasses up through February to March. That's a good shelter type plant. And I mean, things, butcher's broom would be a good example of something. It's spiky and mean, but it's evergreen, and I'm sure birds would go up into that if it was not so nice outside. And shrubs and things, evergreen plants and grasses and things they would use as well. But I mean, we have, I think we've got 150 plus bird species we've seen on the property here. We've been cataloging birds here for 2 to 3 years at this point. Another good plant, and we can go over to it, is celtis. Any of the hackberries. They are really important for the fall. They attract a lot of aphids, which in turn attract wasps and other insects to them because they'll exude the honeydew. It's sweet, and in turn from that, the fall migrants from all over the northern part of the continent flock to these trees. Patrick said he recorded 31 out of 32 warbler species in one tree at one time during fall migration in Clemson. Just on hackberry. He was only missing Kirtland's warbler, which they had from the spring, but it was just a fluke as it was going to Michigan for summer. But everything else would come to these. I mean, they do have fruit on the hackberry. It's a native plant we don't sell, but it's good for birds, and it just attracts a lot of insect activity.
Winter plants we should use.
Winter plants, I mean, grasses are good, and stuff like the rudbeckias, don't cut them back when they're done, or coneflowers. Leave up the seed heads. Things like sunflowers, even the perennial types have fruit that are edible. Silphium, another asteraceous plant for the fall. The great pollinator plants, swallowtail butterflies go to them heavily, but so do goldfinches and other seed-eating birds, cardinals, and the like. And leaving grasses and things are good for nest material as well. They will take the branches and weave their nests and things. Any other questions?
What kind of tree is that yellowish one there?
So that is Alyssium parviflorum Florida Sunshine. It's a Florida anise. It's native to Florida. It's just a gold foliage selection Tony found, but we do sell that. And things like that, the Alyssiums, and then the Florida anise behind you, that's there up against the palms. That's another good evergreen plant that they would use for habitat in the winter. I actually saw hummingbirds on this perennia, this white plant above the agave on the other side of the path the other day as well, which doesn't look like it would be worth anything for a hummingbird, but hummingbirds will eat I've seen them on the lobelias, agastache, hostas, anything long and tubular with some nectar they'll use. They're really, and they like spider webs. They build their nests and hold it together with spider webs and moss and lichen and things. They're little tiny nests. So.
Is the oaks the only thing that makes the pine species?
Oaks are the best. They attract more pollinate or more geometrid caterpillars than pretty much any other native tree, and especially the white oaks. They have less tannins than the red oaks. so they're more palatable to all the caterpillars that eat. And birds like caterpillars. I mean, chickadees, titmice, anything that, you know, they, even though they eat seeds as adults, they can't feed their babies on that. And they need good protein from caterpillars. They're delicious.